I think that it's very important to talk about the Connect platform, because what the Connect platform does, every tap is uniquely captured in the platform that we have that's cloud-based. And what the Connect platform does is it takes the ID of that particular object, and it's a unique ID. So this is very different than QR codes or barcodes that on many packages are really just an indication of what the product is, but it's not a unique identifier. So for example, Barbadillo was able to launch a campaign last summer that allowed people to tap and win. So after they bought their bottle of Barbadillo white wine, they could take it home, open it, and go on the website and enter a competition. That meant that they were giving marketing information to the brand. And that marketing information was captured, and that was 3 times better than other types of mobile marketing advertising. So either banner ads or display ads, or even paid search in driving people to the campaign website. And the Connect platform, what that allows is Barbadillo can then change the promotion depending on the season, the time of day, the geography, and in fact, the first tap tells you about the campaign, and the second one allows you to enter to win. So what the Connect platform does is it creates experiences for the consumer. It's our job with NFC technology to create a digital persona for physical objects and to delight and amaze consumers when they're engaging with a product. Well, first of all, Thinfilm is about enabling the Internet of Everything. We have a very unique and revolutionary printed electronics-based, roll-to-roll manufactured NFC label. And combined with our software solution, it means that brands can have a direct conversation with consumers through their packaging. They can actually create a digital identity either on the primary package, for example, on a bottle or on a carton, or on some kind of a secondary package, or even in store in a shelf display or other types of loosely coupled promotions. Anything from hang tags on 6-packs, or for example, coasters and magnets and other promotional items. And we have over 30 in-market deployments with major brands around the world that show that in a number of different verticals, the consumers are not only engaging in store with products, but are also buying the products and engaging at home. That means that brands understand who the consumer is on one level, but at the same time, we also protect privacy. We protect privacy because it's the consumer that initiates the transaction. And after we process the tap, the only thing we keep is a general indication of the location. That means no personally identifiable information under GDPR. That means that brands can have first-party data and not rely on technology platforms such as search or social media or e-commerce sites, who often are essentially a barrier between the brands and consumers. We've had campaigns that had, for example, beer companies that are launching Earth Day promotions, or new brands. For example, Oscar Blue was launching Dale's Pale Ale in a different format. They had tap rates of over 10% on the coasters that were collectible that they distributed, which is an order of magnitude better than other types of mobile marketing. We made an announcement that we think is exceptionally important for the traction that we see in the market, because a lot of the transactions that people are doing today are not completely secure. And people are using, for example, barcodes or QR codes to try to scan and do payments. And what we're finding is that even in a supply chain, when you have change of control, when one forwarder is giving the package to, for example, a store owner, and then a consumer is buying it, every time people tap, you could actually create a separate block in a public ledger known as a blockchain that would allow people perfect security in terms of that handover from one person in the supply chain to the next, but also an indication of provenance and authenticity. So you are, in fact, doing multiple things at the same time by introducing blockchain into a retail or a supply chain setting. you are allowing consumers to see the origin of the product, the amount of time it took to get on the shelf, and in fact, getting a real sense of ownership of the product before they buy it. This is exceptionally important also, we believe, for online commerce. When people buy things online, they may want to tap them at home when they receive them and to see all of the blocks. The chain of custody goes all the way back to the original manufacturer and that it's an authentic product. So we believe that these services will enhance both e-commerce players and also other brands that want to secure their authentic product from competitors. Up to now, we have been doing sheet-based manufacturing, and last year we sold over 26 million units, mostly of anti-theft tags, but also NFC tags in 7-figure volumes, based on sheet-based manufacturing. That is, we take a metal foil that is very thin, that is about 12 inches on a side, and we process that. With roll-based manufacturing, all of a sudden the batch size becomes 600 times larger. And let's remember back in the photovoltaic industry, in the late 1990s, when people increased the size of the silicon blocks that were manufactured, batch sizes increased 50 times. That created a completely new price point for silicon photovoltaic wafers and created the green revolution that we know today. The same can happen when NFC becomes ubiquitous, because our manufacturing line that we started investment on in November 2016, we said it was a 20-month project, and we are on time to start production of NFC on rolls at the end of the third quarter this year. And at the beginning, it's correct that we'll be able to make tens of millions of units per month or hundreds of millions of devices per year. But the nameplate capacity in the year 2020 will actually exceed 7 billion units per year. That means that the cost of labor, the cost of the capital equipment, all becomes amortized over very large numbers of units. That means all of a sudden electronics becomes as cheap as the raw material, that metal foil. And it's all because we can increase batch size 600 times through roll to roll. And in terms of where we are, we announced at the end of Q1 that we had been able to successfully deposit the first 2 layers, and therefore this is a partially roll processed lot for the anti-theft tags, which is the first product to go to market later this quarter. And the success of those 2 layers was extremely important because the first one encapsulates the steel so that you can make devices on top of it, and the other one defines where the devices are. It's the field oxide that provides the capacitance in the anti-theft tags. That means that the 2 most important layers have now yielded far in excess of what we could have expected for engineering lots. This gives us confidence that we're well on our way to revolutionizing the way that electronics is manufactured, from small batches on very expensive silicon wafers to true ubiquity on flexible, thin metal films. Well, I think it's true that it was very important last year when Apple announced that iOS 11 would support new use cases besides payments. Apple Pay has been the only NFC use case supported until iOS 11 came to market. So the first thing we did is we realized that Apple was going to support the tag types or the protocols that were approved many, many years ago when NFC was first invented. And that was before printed electronics matured to where we are today. So we also, because we have the Connect platform, we are engaging with customers who want Apple compatibility by also sourcing traditional tags to be able to expose them to the entire mobile marketing platform that Thinfilm offers through Connect. So the entire creation of experiences can now be enjoyed on iPhone as well as on Android and also Windows phones. Now, in terms of PDPS, which is the printed dopant polysilicon, that is the roll-based manufacturing technology that we discussed a little bit earlier, we believe that that is fundamentally a better solution for mobile marketing applications in NFC. NFC is used in many applications. For example, in transit tickets, in credit cards for payments. But when you want to make things disposable, that means you really want to make them ubiquitous. And it's not enough even to make 1 billion devices. You want to make tens of billions of devices. So we believe that with the number of deployments that we've had in market that have numbered into the hundreds of thousands of devices with very good results for our customer brands, it is clear that the thin metal foil offers an advantage when you place the tags on bottles. That means that there is 20 times better impact resistance compared to silicon. You have the ability of having something that is actually thinner and more robust at the same time. And so we believe that that, coupled to the scalability of role-based processing, will give encouragement to all platforms to support PDPS over time. We also are very active in the NFC forum, and we do believe that it is likely that standardization will eventually come also to the open protocol that Thinfilm uses. It has been called the NFC barcode protocol, and some people also refer to it as tags talk first, because it's the tag that is talking and the phone receiving. So we think that it's a simpler protocol, it's aligned to mobile marketing, and it also allows us to create truly ubiquitous NFC in the tens and hundreds of billions of units eventually. I think that there's two key elements that we achieved in fact, maybe even three key elements that we've achieved in Q1 that point in this direction. We announced our first 7-figure order deal for NFC tags from Iovate, which is a leading health nutritional brand. And they have already deployed our tags in Walmart and in other retail locations, and they intend to put it on 5 different brands, including Hydroxycut and 5-Star Muscle Gain. These are very well-known brands in their particular category, and it shows that people are going from limited field trials to on-package deployment at scale. In fact, in this case, their conversion partners are investing to be able to put NFC on packaging together with Thinfilm. So that is one piece of evidence. The second is that on the anti-theft side, we have now been qualified for a new set of categories beyond just the shoe category, where our anti-theft tags have a significant competitive advantage. And that scales the opportunity to hundreds of millions of units just for the anti-theft tags alone. So both NFC, where bookings have more than doubled from the previous quarter, and EAS, where new categories were qualified in the quarter, are growing substantially. Now, the third thing, and I think we've already touched on it, is the fact that we did show that our NFC roll-to-roll manufacturing investment plan is on time, and if I may say, also on budget. I mean, we're less than 5% over budget compared to what the plans were when literally they were on the drawing board in November 2016. That is a testament to the engineering skill set, but it's also a reflection that we have a fantastic fab in Silicon Valley. We acquired it with the assistance of Lowe Development Corporation from Qualcomm, who built it several years ago. So it is an outstanding facility, and it makes me very confident that we'll be able to scale as demand rises in 2019.